Hi, friends. The title of this conversation is Living Liberation, Freedom Now, from Loving the Ego Mind. And yes, we are talking about the same complete and utter freedom that some have called total spiritual awakening, enlightenment, or moksha. Most compellingly, perhaps, we're talking about experiencing that freedom now. Not 10,000 days or 10,000 lifetimes from now. Simply being free right now. Because now is the only time liberation can occur, right? The totally unhidden, unsecret to freedom is loving what we call the mind, not calling it the enemy of enlightenment, trying to still it or samadhi it out of existence. So how do we befriend or even love this apparent entity called mind? By seeing what it is and what it is not. We think the mind is the observer of this life. But there is only life, the whole. Life is the only liver and observer, and it is perfect, whole, and complete. It could only be perfect because it's what is. All of what is. Nothing exists outside it. Good and bad, happy and sad, pleasure and pain, birth and death, wellness and illness, getting and losing. All are part of life. It includes everything. And that's just life. Just the flow of life. Lifing. Unlike this supposed separate entity called me, mind, or ego, life is quite content including all of it, loving all of it. That's why we sometimes call it the beloved. It's not judging, evaluating, or even labeling any of it. It is all of it. Only that illusion called the human mind overlays any names, distinctions, judgments, and evaluations on existence. So, quite simply, freedom and perfection would require seeing all of it as life, or the beloved sees it, instead of how this phantom ghost called mind sees it, right? We have a wonderful sangha of thousands of worldwide friends who have heard me say this same thing over and over, which, of course, is the hallmark of any truly realized teacher teaching the real truth. They understand it. They get it. And still they sometimes come back to me and say, but how do I see life the way life, the beloved, sees it? My mind keeps jumping up and getting in the way. So, what's the missing link? Virtually everyone holds mind as its own self-contained autonomous entity, the center of its own separate life. Ramana Maharshi said, investigate the mind. It will disappear. There is no entity by name mind. Because of the emergence of thoughts, we surmise something from which they start that we term mind. When we probe to see what it is, there's nothing there, nothing like it. And after it has vanished, peace is found to be eternal. When we're a baby, there's only oneness, this everything, no separation from the whole, from wholeness. Then somebody calls us a name, tells us we are an individual and we must live a worthy life, be a good student, parent, provider, etc. Thus, we form a false center called me, or ego, which is separate from everything outside it and from which we constantly attempt to negotiate life with an imagined free will. Life is just what is, just what's happening. So life is just flowing along for no reason, like the wind, impersonally, happening for no one and happening to no one. Then, as Ramana said, thoughts arise. And after preverbal infanthood, the first of those thoughts is the I thought. All of a sudden, there's a someone. Life is no longer a whole, flowing as in our precognizant years, but now appears to be happening to me and being observed by me. All of a sudden, this false me-go is evaluating and judging everything that seems to be happening to it, the illusory separate self. But it's just what's happening. The flow of life as a whole. The good and the bad, the up and down, the birth and the death. Now you say, I see that. I get that. So, how do I remove the I thought, the false mind, and its judgments and distinctions from the equation, and just see and flow with life the non-judgmental way life does? Don't you see? Your believing you are a separate judgmental me mind is also part of life's flow. Also, what life is apparently manifesting and enjoying. It doesn't want you to get rid of the phantom mind, necessarily. Life includes all of it, even the part that appears to be standing aside, observing and judging it. For humans, it appears the ultimate cosmic joke, the irreconcilable mystery and absurdity. To the beloved, it's just isness, and so irrefutably perfect. Realizing this, freedom is amazingly simple and stunningly instant. Whenever a judging thought arises, you could say, oh, that's just my mind, pay no attention. Or, life doesn't care, so why should I? Mm-hmm. But sudden, complete, and surprising freedom occurs when you realize life is observing itself, not I. There is no separate observer and judger called mind. The observer is the observed, as Krishnamurti so brilliantly put it. This apparent arising of the I thought, followed by the thought things are happening to me, followed by my judgments, resistance, or dissatisfaction about what's happening to me, are all just a part of life. The beloved loving itself unconditionally. I am instantly free and liberated because what is, the flow of life, is whole, complete, immaculate and perfectly free. And because there really isn't any separate I that could be either free or unfree. So the minute thoughts and judgments arise about all that's happening, just remind yourself, life is what's observing and not judging all that's happening, including me thinking about it, judging it, and taking issue with it. The false I is just another apparent phenomena of life, rising and falling. Therefore, how could the real I, the beloved, loving itself, be anything other than totally free now? Instantly, you're enlightened. Once again, the dream is not your problem. Your problem is you like one part of your dream and not another. But it is all the beloved, and the beloved loves all of it. If you do too, you are instantly free, fully liberated. It's that simple. Love the illusory mind and all its noise, even though there's no me actually there. Love all the flow and events of life that are simply what is, what's happening, to no one, no false you. Suddenly and stunningly, you are enlightened. You're totally liberated and free. Thanks for listening, friends. We'll talk again soon.